Let's buy TNA. Now's our shot. Let's crowdfund it. We're going to go all the way to the top. Let's get a Patreon. Let's get a Kickstarter. We are going to buy TNA and then upsell it to WWE for the tape library. Alright, so WWE was in the news for possibly looking to buy TNA for the tape library. On the outside, that's a great move, right? You have AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, Eric Young. You have a lot of guys that are going to be built into big things in WWE. What better way than to take the TNA library and use it, right? WCW, great way to funnel into everything. But here's the thing. TNA has been on life support for a long time. And I'll say this, if you haven't watched TNA in forever, this year has been one of the best years of TNA in a long time. I watch a lot of the episodes on DVR and come back to it later. I don't usually watch them live, but when I do watch them, the guy back there, right there, Matt Hardy, broken Matt Hardy, has got one of the best gimmicks going in pro wrestling. Now, I think it would actually be kind of cool if WWE bought TNA to use that as an experimental playground, right? You're already taping out 3 months ahead of time. You do it once or, 3 days a month for 3 months. Boom, you got TV taped, right? I know there's costs associated with it, and you're bringing guys or gals into your company that you're paying that you may not get the return on, and I get why that would scare them. But here's the thing. Whoever buys TNA, it's not hopeless because of guys like Matt Hardy. Because I've said this for a long time, right? You can be the best wrestler in the world, but are people talking more about Matt Hardy and the stuff he's doing, or the best wrestler in the world? The hardcore fans are talking more about the Zack Sabre Jr.'s, but the casual fan are going, what the hell is going on with this guy? And it's kind of interesting. You wouldn't think in 2016 the two guys that are innovating the companies the most when it comes to the wrestling genre are Chris Jericho and Matt Hardy. Now, I know what you're saying. Does Chris Jericho count? Yes. Chris Jericho has came back from a lot of WWE runs that were kind of stale. This time, there's substance and there's something about Jericho. Now, the ring work has been a little, here and there, but Jericho on the mic, the stupid idiot, everything that he's doing is great. And the fact that he's friends with Hardy and they talk about it is pretty awesome. Now, if you look at Matt Hardy and the Delete gimmick and Maxwell and Senor Benjamin and everything that they're doing, it's kind of a great way for WWE to experiment, right? Because WWE has got NXT, they've got the Cruiserweight Classic, they've got a lot of these properties that they're using right now for legitimate wrestling. But you can do a lot more of the backstage stuff like TNA does. Like if you watch The Final Battle, if you watch The Great War, if you watched any of the three, the big ones, the compound, it's just crazy. I said the compound, that's the Wyatts, that's not TNA. And you look at what they're doing, like that match at Bound for Glory was pretty rad. The card at Bound for Glory was pretty rad, and I loved the pay-per-view. Now, they did do the typical WWE thing where the guy lost a mid-card title and maybe went at the tapings, went on to do something big. Not going to spoil it for you, but a little concerned about that. But it doesn't matter. Who bought TNA? Who saved the day? Was it Billy? Maybe Matt Hardy, the guy that's reinvigorating his career, bought into the company. Or maybe it was a work from TNA. Maybe TNA was like, all right, nobody's going to buy this pay-per-view. Everybody knows we're going to go out of business, or, it's been teased for a long time. What if we pretend to go out of business and say we cannot fund this weekend without a last-minute pitch? So WWE jumps on the train to get back in. That way the WWE hype train is back in. I mean, think about it. WWE is taking TNA talents. WWE is taking TNA talents. TNA is taking old WWE talents. There's a mix between the two. I honestly think it would be great synergy for the two companies to work together. Now, I'm not saying that because they are competitors, but Vince loves competing, right? What better way to make TNA a little bit more viable so you can kind of have those wars back? Because it kind of sucks right now that WWE is having wars between the companies to try to fill the rivalry aspect of it. And I'll say this. I know a lot of people just don't like TNA for Dixie Carter, and the comments Dixie Carter made, just really, I don't get it, right? Like, I like TNA. I like the performers that are there. Eli Drake, Braxton, Matt Hardy, Cody Rhodes just showed up, Mike Bennett, Maria Kanellis, Sienna, Allie, Gail Kim. There's a lot of people, The Decay, Brother Nero. I mean, there's so many good people on Impact Wrestling that without the show to be there, wouldn't get the exposure they deserve. Now, I will say this. When it comes to WWE versus TNA, I don't think it's a fair comparison. One show is taped out way ahead of time. One's live and has 3 hours and may get boring. I don't know. I like both. Would I justify buying the TNA pay-per-view if it wasn't possibly their last show? I don't know. Because if you're trying to sell a pay-per-view, and in the past your pay-per-view sales hasn't been there, what better way than to go on and Billy Corgan says, we're going to need a miracle to fund BFG and the tapings. Like, we're seriously at, our end's rope. But then Dixie Carter holds a meeting, and Dixie Carter says, well, it was never in doubt. And she kind of, according to reports, is like, well, there was nothing to ever worry about. We're paid late because we're waiting on money from other people. And just the tone, like, you have to be honest with your talent. It's kind of like me and Machinima when they were like, yo, you're killing it. Oh, by the way, January, you're cutting the contract, Like, they never actually paid late, but there were some signs there that things weren't going according to plan. Now, if you're a wrestler and you're only getting paid to come in every so often, TNA is controlling your booking, but you're getting a guaranteed contract is great. But if you start getting late, it kind of sucks, right? But what other options do you have? You can go kill the indie dates, or you can work a TNA contract and make a living. I would choose to work in TNA. I mean, like I said, TNA with Aaron Rex is doing some good stuff. The whole, the Grand Champion thing with 3 rounds, I'm a little hit or miss on it. I don't know why. I may or may not like it. I think it's a cool concept, but it's wrestling. I don't know. There's part of a disconnect with that. But if we went and bought TNA, like, think about it. How much would it actually cost if we crowdfunded? Let's say I have 200,000 subs, right? Probably 180,000 of them are dead subs, right? They've gone and passed because of 2K14 stories went away, FIFA went away, everything, right? They're all dead. If 20,000 people donated $20, that would be a lot of bucks. Not the young bucks, a lot of bucks. What is that, like $400,000? I can't think of it off the top of my head. Whatever, something like 4 million. I don't know. I should have known that, considering I'm a pretty good math guy. But here's the thing. As crazy as it is to think that we could possibly buy TNA, I think we could make it happen. Just the same way that I think WWE could do a cool thing where we could hold a Patreon, where WWE could be like, if we get 500,000 new network subs, we'll drop the 3rd hour Raw. And everybody's like, well, that's not WWE's decision. That's USA's decision. Well, no shit. But WWE could go, hey, listen, we only want to give you 2 hours. We're willing to lose that $25 million for that 3rd hour because look at us. We just made $60 million this year on 1-year subscriptions, right? Crazy. The business is changing. Wrestling is changing. Ratings are dropping for a lot of different factors, but the ratings for USA are still great. The ratings on Impact Wrestling have kind of been stagnant, haven't really crossed 400,000, have usually been between 325 and 375, which aren't bad numbers considering it's Pop TV. But when it comes to TNA, man, I just think we could all buy it. I think we could all team together and buy this company. And then piece it out for parts. Or, no. I'm going to smash that pumpkin. So anyway, the point I wanted to get across with this whole video is there's so much hate on TNA, but they're producing some pretty good shit. I mean, Brother Nero and Broken Matt Hardy is one of the most entertaining gimmicks known to man. And WWE, if you're in a stretch of Raw, NXT, and you're not really trying new things and you're doing the same old formula versus, you got TNA innovating, so then the Wyatt family does the compound thing. Like, when they start pulling ideas from another company, you're on the right track. And I think TNA needs to stay around. I don't want to see TNA fold. That's why if TNA is about to fold, we need to group together. We need to have this campaign. I know there's a lot of fans in wrestling out there. We can buy this company. We can grab it for cheap, and then we can... I don't think that's going to happen. But look at Dixie Carter. Look at TNA. Dixie, please. Please. I don't know what your attachment is to the company. She openly said, I will not let a sale to WWE happen. Like, I know why. Because Dixie's in a position where she wants to keep providing a living for people. But when you have so much uncertainty in your life, it's got to be hard. Especially when the TNA talents ask and they're taking it back like, oh, it's not a big deal. But is Dixie getting paid? Or, being paid late all the time sucks. So guys, this is our opportunity. We have one shot. One opportunity. No, I'm not Eminem. Why the hell would I be Eminem? But this is our shot, guys. Let's do it. Let's start a Patreon. Let's start a Kickstarter. Let's start a GoFundMe. And we're going to buy TNA. Or at least, let's fund 1 round of tapings. If it's going to take, like, what, $500,000 to $2 million? Let's fund 1 round of tapings and let's just take over. I'll just give him everything. Oh, God, TNA. Listen, I don't want you to go away. I want you to stay around. I hope you're successful. Like I said, if we were successful, and I know this is the stupidest, craziest video I could possibly make, saying, hey, why don't we buy TNA? But I think it's possible. Anything is possible. when Broken Matt Hardy reinvented himself and become one of the best gimmicks going in the industry today. I don't care what you say. Broken Matt Hardy, trolling McMahon. Everything that he's doing is just the creative visionary of Matt Hardy. It started with those YouTube videos about I'm broken and sad and rich with money, and then it led to this. TNA is innovating more than a lot of companies in the business right now. They're doing a lot of the same old shit like WWE does, but they're doing some cool stuff to keep your eye on. Because when ratings are slipping, you may need to try some other stuff that'll capture the casual fan. And the stuff that's going on with him is more like a TV show than it is a wrestling show. And to the casual fans, I think that's what's appealing. So until next time, it's your boy tubbyemu, guys. Like I said, if you don't like TNA, you don't watch TNA, you probably hated this video, you probably clicked off in the first 10 seconds. But if you stayed around, guys, if in 2017 at some point, we, the collective IWC, is the owners of TNA, we can make TNA great again. We can turn TNA into what it was before. Million viewer show. Dixie Carter nowhere near the reigns. And providing a living for wrestlers all over the world. That sounds good. Until next time, it's your boy tubbyemu. This is our shot. We're going to buy TNA. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And we will see you all later.